Hello, everyone, and welcome back. This is Aaron St. Denis at FFMadScientist, joined by Jesse Moeller at JMoeller05, and welcome to the Fantasy Football Universe. All right, we are here continuing on the 2024 Rookie Sneak Peek Series. Today, it is Colorado State's Dallin Holker, tight end. Let's get right into it. He is from Liu, Utah, and was not really heavily recruited out of Liu High School. Began his collegiate career at BYU in 2018, where as a freshman, he appeared in 12 games, caught 19 passes for 235 receiving yards and a touchdown. His next season didn't come until 2021, stepped away. How were you describing it, Jesse?
It's a mission trip for BYU to talk about his faith, basically. Yeah.
Yes. So he was away from the game for 2 years because of that. I'm glad you found a way to describe it. Helped him preserve that redshirt status, and then came back as a sophomore, played in 13 games, caught 14 passes for 200 yards and 1 touchdown. As a junior in 2022, for BYU still, he played in only 3 games due to an ankle injury and caught only 9 passes for 86 yards and a touchdown before transferring to Colorado State. So it's interesting. He stayed at BYU long enough to do his little faith trip, but then decided screw it and transferred to Colorado State after an injury. In 2023, as a member of the Colorado State Rams, he had his college breakout, where in 12 games he caught 64 passes for 767 receiving yards and 6 touchdowns before declaring for the draft. That 767 receiving yards is almost more than Theo Johnson had in his entire career, although it might be, I guess he didn't have much more of the rest of it. So again, the write-up for this, the full one, was written by me. If you want to see it, head over to fantasyfootballuniverse.com, where we have Holker and pretty much every other prospect on offense and defense inside the top 150, and check back tomorrow for the next guy. But for now, let's talk some Holker. 6'3", 241 pounds, 22.2 years old, and a junior, which is interesting. He's relatively young still for a guy who was in college since 2018. So
yeah, like Michael Penix. Yeah, he's just a younger version
here. Besides, like, there's some interesting scenarios. Like, he's got a season here as a freshman, did nothing, 2 wasted years that he was gone, comes back, does nothing, has an injury, does nothing, has 1 great season. So it's like, It's a really interesting journey. What stood out for you?
When he's on the field, his Colorado State tape's pretty nice. He is a much more complete route runner than we talked about. Theo Johnson, who's more of the theoretical upside case. Dallin Holker, you kind of know what you're getting. He's a capable wide receiver at the tight end position. He is a bit smaller, and that is a very main concern of his. But like, he does some things, like you see how they used him, and he has a knack for finding soft spot in the defenses. The hands were solid for him, and I mean, he's a tight end. You want them to have solid hands. And with tight ends, it's always the ability to get in the red zone and make their presence felt. And he showed that. So overall, if we're just looking at him from a receiving option, I don't see this massive ceiling or anything, but in the right circumstance, in the right situation, I think he could be a solid, tight end 2 in the right team, right? Where they have a solid wide receiver room. He comes in, he fills the role, moves the chains, kind of like a Zach Ertz method, where he just does enough and just continues and goes and goes.
That's just so odd that he would burn 2 years there at BYU on his little journey, only to come back and say, fuck it, I'm going to Colorado State. So
he's like, I get no production here. All right, I'm going to Colorado State. Throw me the ball.
I don't care about your vision quest. I'm going to Colorado State. Let's get into his scouting report here. His strengths: has a large catch radius and soft hands with great receiving ability, is a good route runner with good technique who easily achieves separation, excellent Don't mind me. Excellent red zone target who is physical and excellent at, I use excellent a lot in this one. He is very excellent at contested catches, a solid yak player with great ability as a playmaker. So he really stood out as a pass catcher for me as the tight end. And like I said, he really the big body, he's really, I said excellent like 12 times. That's how I felt about him in the red zone as a contested catch kind of jump ball target there. So what was your thoughts on his biggest strength?
It's the receiving game. He he's really compact because he's 6'3", 241, and you see him move, and it's like he's just a little tank, just like rolling through. But he makes nice plays. You watch his highlights and the routes he makes. That translates to fantasy, and that's what we're looking for. He is smaller, so like that is a concern, like how much he's going to be on the field, because you're going to be matched up against DNs who got like 40 pounds on you in a few side, so it might be an issue for him to be on the field full time. But if he could find his way into the receiving tight end role, like I think there's a path for him to find fantasy rosters and the next level.
All right, weaknesses. Lacks the overall explosiveness to be elite at the NFL level, does not possess elite speed or athleticism, and lacks significant upside, has limited agility and maneuverability, especially in tight spaces, and an extensive history of injury, includes a severe ankle injury. Could have durability issues as a pro, especially when you factor in his kind of limited size for a tight end anyways. What was the biggest weakness for you?
It's literally the size paired with his ability to stay on the field. Like from a receiving game, it's there. Like the floor's high, you know what you're getting. Like the ceiling's not there. He's not this true difference-making athlete at the field who's going to be just absolutely just working guys, right? But he can find seams, he can sit down. It's just he's more of a high floor play player.
All right, and to cap it out here, I have him going towards the end of day 3 to a spot like Cincinnati. He's I think he gets drafted. He might not, but I think he's a little bit higher up than Theo Johnson. I would expect him to go earlier. I have him going to Cincy as opposed to Theo in Carolina. I don't think he's going to need as long to develop. I don't think he's a walk in and start from day one, but he can go to Cincy and they're not really heavily involved with the tight ends. So he could be someone who's on the field, still learning. He gets the occasional, 2-3 targets a game and kind of learns before having a 3rd or 4th year breakout. So that's kind of how I see him, where he gets a little bit of experience, but he's not the guy, as opposed to Theo, who I think is best in a learning situation like Carolina. What do you have for Holker here?
I actually like that one. It's funny because they've had Irv Smith in Cincinnati and he got hyped. This is going to be a similar situation. An undersized guy who is a good receiver who can do things, is not a plus athlete, and that's like Irv Smith to a T, right? So we're doing this with him. But you just want him in an NFL offense that's going to be passing a good amount so he gets those routes to run and be an impactful player. So in this situation, if you're going right around 6, round 7, which is more or less where he's going to go, you want him in one of the better offense in the NFL. So at least he has a chance, right? So I like this fit for him as well. Like they need a tight end. They've needed a tight end for years. I think he could fill that role decently for them.
Having said that, if he goes to Cincinnati, I'm likely to have no shares of him in rookie drafts because he's going to be overdrafted. Just like, what was it? Irv Smith. Who was it before him? I can see, not CJ. Was it Uzama?
Uzama was there. Yeah.
So
yeah, there's a lot of them.
Yeah. He's going to end up going from being an undrafted rookie pick or a 5th rounder to a 3rd rounder. And I'm just no thanks.
Yeah,
I'll take
the upside's not there in Cincy. Yeah.
It's just not there. It's not. We do this every year, and it's like, oh well, they don't really use their tight end all that much. So
shocking.
All right, well, that was kind of a short one, but we're getting deeper into the weeds here, and a lot of these tight ends, there's not a whole lot to say. They're upside. We do 10 of the tight ends from this point on. Well, out of the top 12 tight ends, once you get past 5, the next 5 or 6 are kind of, if one of them became anything in the NFL, it would be surprising. A lot of them are never going to see the NFL field. We've seen this with, oh my God, who's the guy Buffalo took a few years ago? Do you remember who it was? He was projected to be the tight end 2 in that class, fighting for tight end 1, had a horrific combine where he ran really slow, and now
I know what you're talking about. He's not even in the league anymore. I'm blanking on his name.
And I forget, I knew his name, but I can't fucking remember.
So it's a similar guy, like another undersized. Like this is the
Sternberger, but it's not. It's
I know. We'll come to it. It's
Jalen Wittermeyer.
Oh yeah. Like he from Texas A&M. Yep. He just like.
All because of a combine. He ran. It just goes to show you, though, how important the 40 is for the tight ends, because he was going as tight end 1 or 2. Who was the one in that class? Do you remember?
This was 2 years ago?
Oh, it was McBride. It was him and McBride. Yeah. And then McBride is a beast now, and Wittermeyer is in like I think he signed in the XFL or the USFL or something. And
he just ran all lower.
Yeah, did he run a 5?
Yeah,
5'2" or something?
5.
Yeah, it was
small. So I think Holker will be fine. Like he's not going to run that. Like he's a better athlete than that, and I think he'll be fine. So I think he's just going to, more than likely, his path to success in the NFL is just a guy who plays and he gets his snaps, but he doesn't really do anything fantasy wise. Like I think that's the most likely outcome. He could hit if he's in the right situation in an open wide, like he just needs a lot of things to go right for him. So that's
Yeah.
well.
You're right. More than likely, he's just a guy,
Mm-hmm.
but he's someone to keep an eye on. So that concludes the 2024 rookie sneak peek of Colorado State tight end Dallin Holker. If you want any of these write-ups, head over to fantasyfootballuniverse.com or check back tomorrow for the next video in our series. For Aaron and Jesse, thank you all for tuning in. Take care and have a great day.